keep beckoning to me.
This is a view which inspires a feeling of serenity and freedom. It's a view enjoyed by Johanna Dohnal, Austria's former Minister of Women's Affairs. For her retirement, she bought herself a small house with a garden at the front. It used to be an elementary school in the Wien-Viertel region, northwest of Vienna. The capital is just half an hour's drive away. This is where she has the time to do what she enjoys doing most: reading, contemplating, thinking about how women in Austria can be further empowered. Johanna Dohnal, a member of the Social Democratic Party, is the best-known female politician in Austria. She has changed women's lives in the country. She has always demanded with great tenacity that women be given the same rights as men. Women's rights are human rights. She was born in Vienna in difficult times at the end of World War II. She will never forget what it means to be poor. She married young, worked as an office clerk, had 2 children and joined the Social Democrats. From the 70s till the 90s, Dohnal championed the women's cause with great verve, fighting for legal equality, the legalization of abortion and against domestic violence. Politician Bruno Kreisky discovered her political talent and helped her make her mark. In 1995, she retired from the political arena.
Ja, danke, mir geht's sehr gut, persönlich. Aber ich kann natürlich mein persönliches Befinden niemals trennen von der.
I could never separate my attitude to our global situation from the little world in which I live, Austria.
Auch dem Stückel Welt, in dem ich lebe, also in Österreich.
Viewed like that, things are not so terrific actually.
So betrachtet geht's mir dann wieder nicht so gut.
Times have become tougher. Economic growth is slower than it was. Austria has a conservative government. Business interests take priority over social policy or women's affairs. Many women try to counter this trend, but there are few successes. The biggest problem facing women in Austria today is finding a job. Re-entering the job market, especially after a long absence of 2 or 3 years, is almost impossible. Unemployment has reached a record high in Austria, affecting more women than men. Entrepreneurs are quite blunt about what they think. When times are tough, they would rather hire male employees who don't need to take care of children. For decades, Austrian women have been clamouring for more and better childcare facilities, like those in Sweden or France. And yet, politicians have done nothing about this. The result is Austrian women have fewer children or no children at all. They don't know how they can reconcile work and family life. Johanna Dohnal identifies 3 areas where women are discriminated against.
Die Politik, die in Österreich jetzt leider möglich ist und durchgesetzt wird, ist.
Unfortunately, the current political climate in Austria puts women at a disadvantage as they focus exclusively on women's traditional roles.
Der Fetisch der hohen Geburtenzahl. Ja? Also es werden alle Maßnahmen danach ausgerichtet, dass die Frauen.
Firstly, there's an obsession with increasing the birth rates. All the measures taken are designed to ensure that women have as many children as possible. This is done by providing financial incentives and by cutting material benefits, such as childcare facilities. They're just not adequately funded.
Meint gleichzeitig allerdings die Männerbetreuung, was dann individuell für viele Männer ein sehr lukrativer Ansatz ist.
So the goal is to prevent women from taking on jobs and to make them care for their children as well as their spouses or partners. It goes without saying that men are frequently in favour of this, and the government spends nothing on fighting unemployment amongst women. Many projects that involved women no longer exist. They used to fund training opportunities for women and also to cover their entire social environment. A woman who has gone through a divorce and who has children needs a different support system from that of a man.
Und Schulungsmöglichkeiten als ein Mann. Ja, das war alles.
That was our political agenda, but these projects are no longer funded. So now, women who have had children find it increasingly difficult to re-enter the workplace. Unemployment amongst women, especially young women, is rising a lot faster than amongst men. That is one major area where women are discriminated against, access to gainful employment. Secondly, more and more obstacles are put in the way of education. Funding for schools and education is cut. Tuition fees have been introduced. This means we are back to square one. Being able to send kids to college depends on, as in the past, how deep dad's pockets are. Women are particularly hard hit by this trend. And there is a third area where discrimination against women is prevalent in society in general. Attempts are underway to deprive women of many hard-won rights. Women from different walks of life have spearheaded campaigns for greater equality, from the Social Democrats, women affiliated with the Catholic Church or the Protestant Church, to trades unions, independent women's movements and so on. But now the political climate has changed.
Politically active women look back rather wistfully at the times when Johanna Dohnal served as Secretary of State and then as Austria's First Minister of Women's Affairs. These committed women seemed very confident. They realised they could support and work with one another to overcome many difficulties across party lines. In fact, they were able to overcome the resistance put up by many men. They knew that they had to be taken seriously because they had great power as voters, and they realised that they could also have fun doing what they were doing. Today, things have changed. More than before, men are allowed to show their lack of interest in women's issues openly, and especially in Parliament when women take the floor. A case in point is the statement made by a member of the Liberal Party some years ago. He said he wished Johanna Dohnal was back in Parliament. The former minister seemed slightly amused.
As for women's issues, we should pray for Johanna Dohnal to descend upon us. If those sitting behind me, the cabinet members, were to be replaced by Johanna Dohnal, I'm sure that women in this country would fare much better. And I also believe that this is one of the reasons why women's affairs have been neglected recently. While the macho politicians in the ruling parties have sugar-coated some of their remarks, their fundamental attitudes haven't changed a bit.
After standing down from her government post, Dohnal received hundreds of thank you notes. For many young women, she was a role model. But for her, what is at stake is a better future for both women and men.
I
very much hope that more and more people become aware of what's happening around them, of what it means for them whenever flowery language is used to describe reforms that all boil down to one thing: a redistribution, a shift of power from bottom to the top. We need to make people take action against this dangerous tendency.
Her advice is embodied in a pithy remark made by historian Hélène Maymann.
Watch your back when the knives are out.
Zitat Helene Maymann.
Johanna Dohnal, feminist and social democrat, has applied this maxim with greater consistency than most other politicians, women and men.